So Chris Cornell has been in a bunch of bands that have been huge. Soundgarden, Audio Slave, Temple of the Dog.
Temple of the Dog, I don't know.
Temple of the Dog was a bunch of different guys from different bands getting together.
A supergroup?
Yeah. Oh, there he is. There's the guy. How you doing, man? Good to see you. Pleasure. Nice meeting you. Figured to put
I
you
always
up on
thought he was moody and miserable. I'm surprised he comes in smiling.
Where'd you hear he was moody and miserable?
I just got that from him. You know, he always looked tortured to me.
What mic is that? This mic?
Yeah.
I can use that?
Yeah.
And Chris, see if that thing works.
Hello. It works great.
Hey, man.
And then I got this other guy over here that I have to put near the guitar somehow.
I'll do it.
Nah, we'll figure it out.
We got people for that. You don't have
We
to
have
touch
people.
that.
You do. This is really incredible.
I didn't say they were the top people, but we do have people. Oh, good to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Yeah, I have the moody and miserable cunt kind of thing. It's a reputation.
Everyone kept saying to me, when you interview Chris Cornell, just be prepared. He doesn't, you know, he's going to be all bummed out.
Right.
That's not true at all. That's not true. I've spent years actually kind of... I think when it was early Soundgarden and it was all of us in a room together as a band... it was like that partly because we were trying to be cool in front of each other. So like you don't want to look like you're happy about anything in front of your bandmate because you'll look like an asshole. So you just kind of.
But that's rock and roll. You want to look like you're unhappy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I thought he was miserable. I really bought it.
he's gonna cry at any moment.
You thought he was Kurt Cobain miserable.
Yeah.
I mean, you are one talented dude. I mean, every band you're in is always a success, and I kind of get why you're solo now, because why split up all the money with those dudes?
But what happened to Soundgarden? I mean, why did you leave them to go to Audio Slave?
And maybe you are difficult.
Well, I did.
You know what I mean? You don't get along with any band.
Yeah, I'm a prick. It's really hard to get along with me.
I was bummed out when Soundgarden broke up. I like that. I like that band.
Great band.
We had a great time, and really I kind of think that we were at that point, you know, that bands get to where the next thing that's going to happen is you're going to not be getting along publicly, or you're going to make a really shitty record, and it's going to you're going to have to live with it for the rest of your life. I don't know if that would have happened, but...
But why a shitty record? Like, if you've made good records in the past, how do you know you're going to make a shitty record?
It was just getting harder for us to, like, get in a room and make music together. And then part of it is the motivation, you know? And people deal with success in different ways, and as people get older, what they want to do in life changes.
Where'd you grow up?
Seattle.
You're out of that whole Seattle thing?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, a whole bunch of good dudes came out of Seattle.
Yeah.
You know, even before all that, it's a music like legend. Quincy Jones and Jimi Hendrix.
How old were you when you...
And Ray Charles really went there.
How old were you when you started to, like, are you like a child prodigy or something? I mean, did you start writing songs when you were like 5 or something?
I started writing songs like about 8 or 9.
And then how soon before you start to get famous? Like, how old were you when you were, you know?
Well, that took a long time, because really, I mean, I was kind of wild. I learned how to play piano, learned how to read music, thought it was like school. I quit. I forgot all that.
Were your parents like hippies? Because like you were allowed to do drugs like when you were 9 or something, right?
No, I did drugs. Well, I come from like Irish Catholic on my dad's side and Jewish on my mom's side, and 6 kids. And so there was too many kids to really
watch.
make sure that I didn't get into trouble.
Yeah.
So you got into trouble at a young age?
Yeah.
I started drinking?
Drugs at like 12.
Nice.
Drinking is sort of normal for Irish Catholics.
Yeah, what were you doing at 12? What kind of drugs were you getting at 12?
What can a 12-year-old get a
How do you even score at 12?
It's really simple. You live in an Irish Catholic neighborhood. Every single buddy that you have has 5 older brothers who live in a tent in the backyard and do nothing but get loaded.
What were you doing? Smoking weed?
Yeah, mostly.
Drinking,
smoking a lot of weed, and then like anything that would come along, whether it was acid, mushrooms,
you like
some
acid?
kind of pill. Not really.
What was the one that really did you in?
Well, PCP.
That's not good?
Yeah.
That's not a good... Do you ever do PCP?
One time I smoked a joint that had angel dust on it. I didn't even know it, but it was just like a really weird, not quite so pleasant experience.
Yeah. It's not. You don't really know what's going on. It's in one moment you'll feel extremely high and you don't know where you are, and the next minute you don't feel anything. And
did you swear everything off after PCP?
Yeah, I did. Well, I was only 14. At 14, I sobered up for like a good 2 years. And that's when I kind of got into alcohol. And alcohol was just kind of normal, you know. I was fine with it for a long time. And then in my probably early 30s, then I just started to kind of take off.
Yeah.
Working a lot, out on the road all the time.
Are you a rehab guy?
Went through rehab once.
Do you think
which was enough?
You didn't like it?
No, I did.
Or that
actually.
did it. You don't drink anymore.
Yeah, it's not something I want to do again, so I really would prefer to not drink.
So we're never going to see you drinking anymore or doing drugs or anything?
No.
Wow.
And one of the key reasons is, like, I feel a lot better. I'm in a better mood. I'm not a miserable asshole. That's part of it, really. Walking around when you're hungover all the time makes you a little moody.
Your dad was a pharmacist, right? So do you think you got inspired there? I mean, with all his drugs and stuff?
I know actually a lot about pharmaceuticals, more than you should. But yeah, we used to get, like, coffee mugs with pictures of pills on them as, like, promotional items that they would give pharmacists. We had playing cards that had pills on them. And it
probably inspired you.
I think it did.
Do you so when you're young and you're in school and stuff, and you're already playing guitar and everything, I guess, did you take guitar lessons, or you just figured it out on your own?
No, I just kind of learned so I could write songs, because before Soundgarden, I was in maybe from like 17 to 21, I was in about 10 bands around Seattle, and they were all really awful, and all the songs were awful. And it was usually based around a guy who wrote the songs, who was the singer, and they were bad songs, and it was bad singing, and that's kind of why I ended up doing it. I was really a drummer then.
But didn't you really start doing, I mean, you must have started to get laid at an early age, too. If you were doing drugs at 12, I would imagine you were starting to get laid and you're a good-looking dude. All the chicks go wild for you.
It was like 15.
15?
Yeah.
And so when you start to play the guitar and you can sing the way you do, I imagine women were not tough to come by, right?
Yeah, well, like almost overnight. The first time I was on stage in a band, the opinion of girls toward me changed in seconds.
Right.
And really, it has absolutely nothing to do with how you look. You can look like anything, and that's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, you're lucky, too, though. I mean, you're a decent-looking dude.
So let's say, hypothetically, I was in a band.
It's done. It's a done deal, yeah.
And was the last record, because I was a real big fan of Soundgarden, is the last record you guys put out the one that had Blow Up the Outside World on it? Is that?
That's the one.
Man, I love that record, man. I love that song. So that's like 95, right?
96, yeah.
And then when does Audio Slave come about? What year?
Those are the Rage Against the Machine dudes.
That's later, though. Then I did
what
a solo record.
Then? Yeah.
I did a solo record called Euphoria Morning, did a tour.
But wait a second. When you were in Soundgarden, right, then you hook up with those guys, Seattle-type dudes, and then you're hanging around with Stone Temple Pilots and Nirvana and all those guys, or are you guys rivals?
Stone Temple Pilots was from, I'm not sure where they're from. They're not from Seattle.
Oh, they're not?
No. They're from over here somewhere.
Did you hang out with Pearl Jam?
The guys in Pearl Jam were in other bands before that. They were in a band called Mother Love Bone, which was...
Is Eddie Vedder an asshole, or is he a good dude?
He's like one of my best friends in the world.
He's a good guy.
Absolutely genuine guy. I swear on the Bible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so did you hang out with Nirvana and those guys, too?
A little bit, yeah.
So it's like a whole little club.
Yeah.
Audio Slave.
No,
that was
Audio
different.
Slave is different.
He's Audio Slave from later on.
Yeah.
Audio Slave happens later, and that's like the guys from Los Angeles.
Then what band am I thinking of? The Bone where the
Oh, you're thinking, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking of Temple of the Dog when all those cats got together, and that was a good album.
Alice in Chains?
Alice in Chains,
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, they were friends.
Yeah.
Those guys, they were like the Monkees. They lived in this house all together.
Yeah?
The whole band. It's not, no joke. All together in the same house, and they were really fun. They were like really young guys, and they lived like the real rock life, And of course, it all went horribly wrong later.
Right.
But they were great.
Were you close with Kurt Cobain?
We weren't that close.
Who could be close to him? He married Courtney Love.
Courtney Love could be close.
Did it affect you in a personal way, though, when he died? I mean, were you close enough for that, or like...
He was busy fighting with Soundgarden. He didn't have time to play.
He had his own problem.
Yeah. I had friends die before that, and, the way that he did it was kind of a twist, but other than that, I'd been through it before. And it was a shame. But, it's like it's a shame for... his daughter, for one.
Yeah.
It's a shame for fans, but really it's a personal thing, and I don't know, it was a drag, and I wish it didn't happen. And I also think, like, if he would have just kind of hung on for 6 months, who knows? 6 months later, he would have been a completely different guy.
Yeah, who knows what kind of decision that was.
Well, but even with you, if you guys had gone ahead and made an album, maybe it would have been great. You don't know unless you do it.
That's true. That's true.
That's right. Bob, what is it?